Hello, and welcome back to We Just Want to Talk About One Piece. We got our captain, Inagro.
Hello.
We got our vice captain, Lucian.
Hi.
And we got me, the navigator, Saflam. And today we are going to be visiting the snowy island of Drum.
Yes, I think it's fair to say Agro's prediction
drum
was pretty
music.
off of the Polynesian island.
What did I predict?
You
It's been a
predicted
while.
a Polynesian beach type island, like a Hawaii type deal, and you were completely wrong.
I didn't expect a drop. I've expected just going straight to the plot. I did not expect obviously not filler, as we have a new main character, but I expected to just go straight to whatever the main deal is.
Right.
Which I'm still gonna hold true to that being what I said. I didn't remember I said this until 5 minutes ago. But
that's why I took notes.
I described it as a Moana type island.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you confirmed that. So this is the complete opposite of that.
Yes.
But the name is misleading. Drums, Polynesian.
Fair, actually, yeah. I guess if you were to just hear Drum Island, you'd probably... Yeah, fair.
I think it's called Drum Island because of its mountains, right?
Oh, definitely.
The Drum Rockies, they're called?
Yes.
They look like drums. They look like long drums.
I believe in the arc they call it like the, kingdom with no name or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know what they renamed the island or anything like that. It's called Drum. It was Drum before Wappa left, and then during our stay there, it's not Drum. It's just Nameless Island.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like many of my assignments. Until the last 5 minutes of handing it in, and I start typing real fast. Anyways, I wanted to, there's a question I wanted to ask that now that we're talking about like topography and weather and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Niagara specifically. There's this like really famous YouTube video. It's a One Piece YouTube video that basically just shows all the settings and landscapes that the show has to offer, like on full color and animated and all that stuff. And a lot of like YouTubers react to it and stuff like that. Obviously, we don't want you to watch it because spoilers.
Obviously.
But what do you think of the landscapes and the settings so far? Is my question, I guess.
Overall, you mean, or like in this arc?
Yeah. This is overall, and if you want to be specific to this arc.
I mean,
that's a good question.
Obviously, this is the most unique. And the last arc in particular was very unique as well, with it being more jungly. But the others all kind of meshed together. Yeah, prehistoric jungle. Before that, though, for all of East Blue, it kind of just meshed together.
Yeah, all of East Blue is kind of like modern city-esque, I feel like.
I mean, it makes sense. You're establishing your world. It's kind of... You want the going to jungle and snow islands to be a big deal.
Well, and we're establishing a baseline to show that the Grand Line is very unique and different.
Yes.
Like
course,
here is normal, and Grand Line is ridiculous.
Which is weird because this story is set in the year like 1530 or 1521.
Does it have a year?
Yeah, there are years if you go more into the One Piece lore.
Huh.
He doesn't. I don't think the narrator specifically states dates and times.
Yeah.
It's always like, a few days later, a few days before, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever.
Yeah. No, I know that they've mentioned like, times and stuff, but I didn't know that there were like years.
So it's based on like the time of piracy when it's at its highest. In our world, it was during the 1500s when piracy,
gotcha.
the great age of piracy, basically. So right,
the great age of piracy being 25 years to be exact.
Yes,
lasted a whole 25 years.
That's quarter of a century.
You listen to the FBI. Whoa. It's now. You wouldn't download a car.
Oh God! Stop it! Stop it! That thing's so cringy.
I had to pay off my monthly car bill today. I would absolutely download a car.
download a car for free. Man, you don't have to download stuff anymore. I don't want to get caught by the FBI, so I won't say anything. But
not committing the crimes.
Yeah, I think my favorite setting so far has been Whiskey Peak, just because of the reveal that the cactuses aren't actually cactuses; they're just big rocks, and they have tombstones.
Oh yeah, with the tombstones. Yeah, that's the coolest thing.
Yeah,
like
that was.
setting
I
thing
think
so far.
it
Absolutely.
looks kind of like a western too, like with the, like I don't even like. You know how? Have you guys been? No, you haven't been. I've been to Texas, and there's like these huts, like ancient houses, even like modern houses. They kind of have it too. It's like the ceiling is flat, like the houses in Whiskey Peak. Like they're from real life, right?
Oh, I know the style of house you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know the name.
Yeah.
I really like that kind of house too. So it's just Whiskey Peak's entire, and Zorro's also in that. So just Whiskey Peak is a highlight for me.
Mm-hmm.
Just the setting and stuff. And Drum Island is also just like who imagines mountains as just like flat round cylinders? I can't even even I wouldn't imagine them that way, but that's kind of why I wanted to bring up the question, because the more we go into the series, the crazier it becomes. So maybe just the baseline of what our thoughts are on that. Lucian, what do you think of the settings and stuff like that?
Of the stuff we've seen so far, this is probably my favorite. As a whole, yeah, I mean, I won't get too into it, but yeah, I mean, the current arc has my favorite overall. And I love I love Oda's like childlike creativity. Even, I mean, I know he was a child when he came up with the idea of One Piece, but it's been, the dude is not a kid anymore, and he still is able to come up with these incredibly imaginative environments and just make the world still feel special every new place we go.
Yeah, I agree. And Agro, you said Drum Island was your favorite setting so far, or the most interesting, or did you have another island in mind?
I mean, it's like it's hard to separate the things that happened from the actual location. If we're going to actual location, then the dinosaurs were cool.
Okay, Little Garden.
That's fair. Yeah. Getting decapitated in a single axe strike was also pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Little Garden is cool just because I love how it was named because of the two people who live on it. It's from their perspective. And like, would Drum Island be like in the same vein? Like if there was a giant there, he would drum on the Rockies. I feel like, I don't know. That just came to mind.
I do like the hiking bear in this, just that little bit of background silliness, of like, oh no, you gotta pay your respects to the hiking bear. Hello. Have a good day, sir.
And it's just giant fat lady. Oh, it's a hiking bear. We gotta bow. We gotta pay respects to the giant fat lady. I thought the jokes are really good in this one in Drum Island. I think it's because everybody kind of separates, and you get to kind of flesh out the characters that way. Like Vivi and Usopp kind of go on a little journey by themselves, and Sanji. I don't think we've ever seen Sanji and Luffy alone since Baratie, since Sanji's been introduced. Yeah. I think this is like my favorite little banter in the entire series. I feel like, in my opinion, because just it's so stupid. But that's what friends would do. They would just talk about stupid stuff.
Yeah. No, definitely. I don't know. This is definitely one of my favorite. I know I say this nearly every episode, but it's just because One Piece continually gets better, in my opinion. But definitely one of my favorite arcs, and a lot of it has to do with Luffy's growth, and even right from the very beginning, when they're on the ship, and they initially get to Drum Island, and they're being like held up by the villagers. And Luffy and the crew's reaction is like, all right, well, we gotta get Nami to a doctor. We're just gonna beat them up. We're gonna beat up every single villager and go get her to a doctor. We're gonna kill
That's
them all.
how you do it.
We're gonna take everyone out and bring her to a doctor. Nami's more important than everyone else here.
I can't believe they did it some other way. That's how you do things, right?
Well, what happened was Vivi got shot from them doing that. She got grazed by a bullet, and he was like, "Oh, maybe I should change my way of thinking here a bit." And Vivi is the one who pulled them and was like, "Listen, you're a failure as a captain if you try to fight every time. Nami's gonna die if you do this. You know, like you can't solve everything by fighting." And he really listens, you know, and it's one of my favorite moments. And it's the first time we see Luffy learn, I shouldn't just solve everything with my fists. And it gets reinforced so many times in this arc. Like, okay, Nami's on your back, don't fight. If you fight, she's going to feel pain. Like, you're climbing the mountain or whatever, you can't fight. Like, he has so many times in this arc where he's confronted with conflict but unable to deal with it in his usual way, which is why it's one of my favorite arcs.
I didn't think about it that way. It's really interesting, actually.
Yeah.
But then he fights Wapol in the end.
Well, he does once she's safe. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I think for me, I've been with the series so long that I don't really understand some aspects of it. I'm blind to the analysis, and like what you just said didn't occur to me at all. I've been with the series how many years? 20 plus, you know? So I think for me, one of the biggest hurdles with understanding the saga in general is Vivi as a character. I didn't really understand why she was there and why she was important and like what was the point of all this. And I felt like
it's the best character.
She is. No, now that I'm rereading it and rewatching it, I do love her a lot more. But like originally, I was always like I didn't like the Alabasta saga a lot, and maybe I'll get more into my thoughts on that when we go deeper into Alabasta and all that stuff. But then on a rewatch or a reread, or when I was reading it right now, it kind of like clicked for me that Vivi is here to show Luffy that there is another option. And not only that, but that leadership requires de-escalations of situations. And the way she talks down to him when he doesn't do that, she's like, I'm disappointed in you, like as a person and as a friend. This is disappointing for me to see you this way. Like the fact that you can't even sympathize with these people and you're even gonna hurt Nami through this, like you can't even think 2 steps ahead, is really sad. And I thought that was like, wow, that's a big moment for Luffy. Vivi kind of teaches him how to be a better leader, in my opinion. Because before he's always like acts on instinct, and that's good sometimes. It's not bad, but there's also, and Vivi just shows the bad aspect of going on instinct. Like in Little Garden, he went on instinct and he defeated Mr. 3. But if he had gone on instinct here, Nami probably would have died. You know?
Right. Exactly. And I think, like you said, her purpose is to teach Luffy, but it also goes both ways, right? Like Luffy is teaching her an alternative way. Like not every problem can be solved peacefully. Not every problem can be solved with words. And so we see that a little bit on Little Garden, right? Like, you know, the giants can't solve their conflict with words. They have to solve it with fighting, you know? And so Luffy understands that and sort of throughout the course of the arc explains and not explains, but I think Vivi understands throughout the course of the arc that, you know, maybe there is a time to fight, you know? And then obviously she has to teach Luffy, like, listen, there's also a time to stop and not fight, because you almost killed your friends.
I agree with that, yeah. And I think now that we're talking about it, that kind of comes to a head in Alabasta, these two differing ideas, and then there becomes like a synthesis between the two ideas, I think. And we'll explore that a little bit more in Alabasta. But yeah, that's really cool now that I think about it. And Negro, what are your basic general thoughts on Drum Island? Not getting into Chopper and the new character yet. Like me and Lucian, we've been talking about the dynamic between Vivi and
Yeah,
Luffy.
I
Do you want to
haven't
add
really
to
wanted
that?
to interject much due to I feel like it was fine. It was good. And that's
Mine
like
is good.
my strong opinion of it was good. Yeah. I read it. It was an enjoyable read, and then I moved on. I don't know. I don't have any strong opinions either way. I think it was good, and I think there were enjoyable moments, and it was a well told story. It was like a solid 7.
I think for me the
Nothing
weakest
bad.
part is the villain. I think Wapol is like the
There
weakest
was a
out of all the
villain?
villain
I
so
would
far.
agree. Yeah.
Honestly, I
he's so
legitimately
forgettable.
do not remember
Yeah.
the villain.
So he shows up before they get to the island
Oh, that
on their
guy.
boat, and he has the
Wow, what a
giant
loser.
metal like mouth.
Hey, you know what villain I do remember? Blackbeard.
He did get mentioned.
Making a bigger impression in like 2 lines than that dude in his entire arc.
Yeah. Dalton mentions to Vivian Usopp that like they had to for context, they had plenty of doctors, but a group of 5 pirates led by pirate Captain Blackbeard came and they defeated the entire military of the island. And so then Walpole and his elite troops fled and became the Walpole Pirates, not even attempting to fight them off. And upon seeing his cowardice, the people, realized they don't need a king and have attempted to lead a democracy ever since. So that is how we sort of learn about Blackbeard and how he and his 5 pirates defeated the entire military alone.
And obviously, I don't know. I know Blackbeard as a character I've known for a long time. But if I hadn't known, and you introduce a character and you go, hey, that's Blackbeard in a pirate media, you automatically go, that's going to be a main, very strong, important character eventually.
Never. Blackbeard is always a joke. Useless.
What a loser.
Haven't you played Fate Grand Order? He's a joke.
Yes, my favorite.
That's for me, because I'm the only person who will listen to this who plays Fate Grand Order. I
don't even know what's happening right now.
That's
what?
Okay. We can move on.
Do I mention things that you guys don't know about?
He doesn't know either.
Feiruz is a great singer, guys, you know?
Whoa.
It's amazing.
Do I get my turn now? I got nothing.
What I wanted to say about Wapol is he's kind of like, I think what's the best thing I can say about this guy? He has a bad healthcare plan, I guess. I'm trying to articulate that way.
You can say that if you want to. That is something to say.
Well, I mean, he did take away the most advanced doctors in the entire world from the populace, so yeah, that's fair. That would be an accurate sentiment.
It's super evil, right? It's like horrible.
He has a great healthcare plan for himself.
Yeah, it's also like, as Dalton repeatedly says, his father was apparently a great leader. That's the only reason Dalton ever follows him, is like, I can fix him, he says. I can fix this broken leader. I will do it for his father.
People who say that are so... I used to be that kind of person. Doesn't work out in the end. It's horrible. If the person themselves, it's like, what's the saying? You can drag a horse to water, but you can't make them drink the water. You know?
Mm-hmm.
You haven't tried hard enough.
Okay, but the horse starts drowning then. Like, you either kill the person...
Exactly.
And then you start beating the dead horse. That's another euphemism. That's it. I didn't pick up on that Wapol's father was actually a good king, and that's why Dalton stayed with him.
Yeah.
But I think Dalton, his eyes started to open when they went to the Council of Kings.
Oh, that's one of my favorite scenes in this whole arc. Yeah.
Yeah, with Vivi and Dalton remembering Vivi and stuff like that.
Oh, and Wapol.
Oh, yeah, Wapol, and then Cobra was like, "Sit down and shut up. We got business to take care of, boy."
Do you remember what they were meeting for?
His daughter. They were talking about like just the age of piracy, I think.
No, they were talking about hold on, I took notes on this. So we got so inside of a Hero League flashback, we get another Dalton flashback to a recent World Council. They said, and it had a ton of information. It said that it was being held at the Holy Land of Marijois, and the council was discussing the Revolutionary Dragon, who they believed could become a formidable enemy in the world of the world government in 5 or 6 years, which is now. Wapol wants nothing to do with handling him, and he gets scolded by Cobra, the ruler of Alabasta and Vivi's father. Wapol takes his anger out on Vivi after the meeting, smacking her, but she holds in her pain and tells Igaram, her guard, to like stand down, and she apologizes to Wapol for bumping into him instead of demanding an apology or anything, to show how talented she is at leading and knowing that if she were to blow up, it would start a war. It's definitely one of my favorite scenes. But yeah, there's so much world building stuff in that flashback, it's too much to even take in.
I'm really off my game. I forgot that.
Oh, you're good. I took pretty extensive notes on that part.
I think, and I don't know what to say about it unless there's spoilers. So I'm just gonna be like, wow, cool.
Nice.
Cool idea, cool concepts.
You can talk about it when you get there. Just write a little note down.
No, I was just gonna make a joke about Alabasta, but that would spoil the thing, my thoughts on Alabasta as a whole. So I'm just gonna wait until we get to Alabasta. Alabasta is gonna be like 3 episodes of us talking about
I was
Alabasta.
thinking about that before today. I was like, how many episodes is Alabasta gonna be? It's 63 chapters.
I think Max is gonna be 2. I think we should split it in 2, but we can talk about that at the end. We haven't even talked about Chopper.
No, we haven't.
Wow.
What? Aggro, first impression, Chopper, go.
Dog.
No.
Wrong.
Incorrect.
Oh my god. You guys did the meme. It's like, what's worse? What's worse than a rapist? A child. No.
It is a reindeer. It is Rudolph.
He has a blue nose. He's not Rudolph. He's completely trademark
why not just go
different.
For it? It's not copyrighted at all.
Hey man, Santa.
You can just use them.
Listen, man, Santa comes after you hard in court. He just has really good PR.
And he knows when you were awake.
Isn't Santa a witch now?
Yeah. Santa is a 139-year-old witch doctor, yes.
Mm-hmm. Who looks like she was part of a heavy metal band.
She does.
Guys, be careful what you say about Chopper. My sister, her favorite character is Chopper, so tread lightly.
Good taste. I like Chopper. Not my favorite, but Chopper's great.
He's okay.
I love me some Chopper.
He's okay. Yikes. Negro,
I mean,
you're gonna be sniped. You're gonna be sniped. I'm sorry.
Like he's fine. He's enjoyable.
I will say Chopper early on is very different, and without watching the anime, it's hard to come across like, if you're not watching the anime and you're not Japanese, it's hard to understand like the humor that he's getting across. Like the translation doesn't really get across, at least the translation you and I read doesn't really get across like his humor. Like he's very bashful, and the whole like bit he does is a reference to a Japanese comedian.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I read it in one of the SBS things in a later chapter. But so if you were a Japanese kid who knew the comedian, you'd be like, "Oh, it's this bit. I get this. This is funny." Or if you watch the anime, you'd just hear it voice acted and see it animated, and it would be fine, even if you don't understand the context. But reading it in the manga, it definitely does not come across as well. So I definitely think Chopper's character in these early chapters does not really come out. He's supposed to be very cute and bashful. But
I can say he definitely had he's had my least interesting introduction of the group.
What'd you think?
Which, I mean, not to say much. Sanji had the best introduction, I think, and look where he is now.
But when you say that, was it Sanji's introduction or Sanji's arc? Not Sanji's arc. Was it Baratier or Sanji's introduction?
Well, that's what I mean. That's the character in their first arc.
So the character's presence within their arc, you mean?
Yes.
So what did you think about Chopper's backstory?
It was fine. Again, I don't like talking about this one. I've been scared to talk about it because I have no strong opinions. It's fine is all I have to say.
No, I understand. That's okay. It's just, so...
it's kind of unoriginal.
Listen, I rolled my eyes and was cringing at the first few chapters of, the flashback. I'm not gonna lie. The, blue-nosed reindeer stuff, I was like, okay, alright, whatever. But the Hiruluk and Chopper stuff I thought was cute. What'd you think of Dr. Hiruluk?
Again, he was cool. Again, I have said now 10 times. I have no strong. He was fine. He was an interesting backstory, a character, I guess. But again, I have seen this exact. I feel like I've seen this exact story 10 times.
Really?
Before. I've done. I don't. I mean, I'm sure this was obviously when was this written?
Early 2000s, probably.
Early 2000s. Yeah,
2000,
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Ton of the stuff I've seen is after, but the whole I don't know. He was a good character. Someone say something so I don't have to keep saying.
No, that's fine. Saflin, what did you think about the backstory stuff with Hiruluk and Chopper?
I think it's the most solid backstory, is how I would describe it out of everybody so far.
In a
it's
good
no
or bad way?
We start
really? Okay.
The way you said that made me sound suspicious.
No, I'm not being suspicious.
Okay.
I'm being no, it's we've never gotten from when they're born to where they are right now, which is what I mean by solid. We know everything about Chopper.
I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I gotcha.
With Luffy, we were with him when he was 7 or 8. With Zoro, is the same thing. With Nami, it's the same thing. With Sanji, it's the same thing. I don't think any of them have parental figure. I mean, they do have parental figures, but we don't even know who their parents are.
Nami has Nojiko, but otherwise Usopp had his mom. Well,
yes,
his dad was non-existent. Usopp's dad is non-existent.
What is his name? Usopp?
Yasop.
Yasop.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So other than Usopp, I think, and I kind of like that we take it in a different direction of he was an animal first. I thought that was pretty unique.
Mm-hmm.
In the fact that the animal world is more cutthroat, and I think the reason why the reindeer singled him out was because maybe a predator could see him with his blue nose. It's not a good way to hunt something, or to it's a way to get hunted easily. And so if you stay with this guy, you're gonna get hunted, right? I think I'm trying to make an excuse for it, obviously.
Yeah, I appreciate you attempting to explain it, but at the end of the day, I will still roll my eyes at the blue-nosed reindeer bit of his backstory.
I just like it that we started with him from when he was an animal, before he took the devil fruit.
I agree. I really like that. I think it's an interesting idea.
And the fact that we even go back to them, like when he's trying to get the mushroom for Hiruluk and he has to face them again.
Oh.
And like he loves Hiruluk so much that he's willing to throw away his past. Usually he was very like he would try and avoid them before, but now and if they get in his way, he'll get in their way too. He has like a purpose, and I thought I'm giving a lot of credence to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a simple backstory, but
no, it's simple, but it's
beauty,
effective.
There's beauty in simplicity, I think.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part is, I think what I love the most about the backstory is that it sets up Doctorine and Chopper's dynamic.
Do you mean
So,
Kureha?
they don't interact in the backstory until the very end, and then you see 6 years later, and it's just like this is his mother. Like you realize, oh my god, that's his mom, and he just lost his dad. I mean, he lost his dad 6 years ago, and he gained a mom, and now he has to leave her too. I think backstory. I like the backstory because it lends credence to that relationship, and over the years how it's been built, and she says at the end, go on. I don't remember what she says verbatim, but she's like, "Go on, my stupid son," and it's just like, oh, you're like the tears start flowing. I think the backstory is simple but effective, and it's the most solidly effective out of all the backstories I've seen so far, other than Sanji's. I agree with Inagro. Sanji's is a little bit more stronger, but I don't know. Chopper's is simple. And then one of my favorite lines in the series is said by Hiruluk. And I think I pulled it up specifically because I wanted to see the Viz translation and then my translation, the one I've been reading. For my FBI listeners, it is not illegal in the slightest, I promise. So should I read first, or do you want to go ahead and
you can go first because I need to. I took a screenshot of a bunch of stuff, but I'll probably need to find the.
You need to find it. That's fine. So the context, Inagro, do you know what I'm talking about, or should I explain it?
Explain it for the listeners and not me because I remember.
That's true. So what happens is Wapol is he's been hunting all doctors that haven't gone under him. He's basically either banned them from the country or he's killed them. And there's 2 doctors left. There's the quack doctor Hiruluk, which is Chopper's father, and then their adopted father, of course. And then there is Doctorine. I call her Doctorine because that's her name in the anime. That's how I know her. But they use a different name here. It's Kureha. So Doctorine and Dr. Hiruluk, quack doctor and an actual doctor, and metal band doctor. She's so badass. She's not gonna get caught by these dumbos. But Wapol basically sends out a fake news story that all the doctors that are left in the entire kingdom have gone sick. We need a doctor to come help them. So Dr. Hiruluk takes on the sacrifice to go and help them. And he's drunken a poison mushroom because Chopper got it for him. It's too much. It's too much emotion. So he goes to the top of the mountain, and they're like, "Ha ha ha!" Wapol's like, "Ha ha ha!" Evil laugh.
I've tricked you.
For my trick. Yeah, and
you've activated my trap card.
Then there's this panel where there's the panel where Dr. Hiruluk he stumbles from not excitement but from relief. He says, "Thank God." Nobody's sick, and Dalton is shooketh from this reaction. All the doctors are also shaking from just the shock of how he's okay. He's accepting his death. He's okay with what's going to happen. He knows, he was a crook in the past, so he understands what's going to happen right now.
And the current.
Yeah. And so Wapol's like, "Ha ha ha, we're gonna shoot this doctor and it'll be the end of the doctors in the Drum Island Kingdom." And then he says, "Stop. You people can't possibly kill me." And then Wapol's like, "What?" And he asks the question, "When do you think a person dies?" And then this is one of my favorite moments in the entire show. Chopper's running up trying to save him, but he's not going to get there in time. He says, "When do you think a person dies? When his heart is pierced by a bullet? No. When he is inflicted with an incurable disease? No. When he drinks soup made from a poisonous mushroom? No. You see Dr. Kureha, she's getting ready to drink his demise. Then he says, "Man dies when he is forgotten. Even if I'm gone, my dream will come true. The sick hearts of this country's citizens, too, will be saved." I think that's it. That's just my favorite moment.
Yeah,
that's a really good line.
On.
Probably the best moment of the arc.
And then he puts his drink up and he says, "Truly, what a spectacular life it's been." He smiles. His death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely a great moment.
It's like how Luffy did on the execution stand and how Roger did when he died.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he like accepts his fate. Yeah, it's just pretty similar in this translation. Very similar. I mean, they just sort of use different words to say the same thing. So I don't know that we need to fully recap it, just for the sake of time and stuff. But because honestly, they're just using synonyms. There was nothing like I read along as you read it, and it's it's the same.
That's good. That's good. No, they got something right then. That's really good.
But yeah, that's a great moment.
It is, because in the beginning, not in the beginning of the series, but when we were in Loketown, in Loketown, remember those lines that we read out, like people's. I can't remember the specific lines. Like people's dreams, inherited will, and time. These are the three things that cannot be stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, he's like, even if I'm gone, my dream will come true. And like, I've given on to somebody, whether it's Dr. Kureha or Chopper, they will execute my desires even when I'm gone.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really telling. It's a very interesting way to incorporate legacy into a story, and I don't think I've seen it in any other story. Like, when I think about legacy, I think about Hamilton, actually. Do you guys know the superstar musical Hamilton starring Lin-Manuel Miranda?
I know of it.
I actually don't think I've seen it. I think I've heard like almost all the songs and stuff, but I haven't actually watched it.
Good. It's so good. It's on Disney Plus.
Yes.
But the thing with Hamilton is that it shows legacy in the traditional way that we see it in the world. Of like I plant a seed. Like, one of the songs is about like his legacy is when he's dying, when Hamilton is, spoiler alert, Hamilton dies.
History spoiler.
He says, "What is a legacy? Is it planting seeds of a tree that I will never get to see?" And he questions that, and that kind of reminded me of how One Piece looks at legacy versus how the world looks at legacy. Like, here, look, he's okay with dying right now, because he knows his legacy is secure. But Hamilton, on the other hand, he's a very, I would say, selfish man when it comes to his legacy, and he wanted to see it through. He wanted to see his aspirations through. And I feel like that's most of what the world is when it comes to inheritance and legacy and all that stuff. We want to see what are the fruits of our labor. We want to retire, and I feel like that's kind of very selfish desire, in my opinion. Obviously, else might think something else. But in One Piece, it's a very selfless way of like, not just selfless, but also like very kind of like, I trust you so much. I'm gonna give you my dreams, and I will die. And I will die happy knowing that you have accomplished them, because I love you as a person. And I think that's just such a loving, caring way of talking about legacy versus the Hamilton legacy of, like, especially America in the 1700s, very strict with inheritance. And
could almost say One Piece opens with that idea of legacy. Like, the first few panels are Gold Roger, or sorry, I can say his name properly now, thank Christ. Gold D. Roger. Oh my god, I can say it. Yeah. We'll get into it later. But whatever. Gold D. Roger. He starts off by saying, like, my treasure, you want to find it, it's out there, like, he's leaving his legacy behind and starting this new age of pirates, like, he has accepted death and left behind his legacy, and I think that's why he and Harry Luke had a similar acceptance of death in their final moments, you know?
Yeah.
So it's probably a recurring theme.
Yes. The acceptance of death, but also the courage and the knowing that your dreams will not die with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because your dream is bigger than you. I think.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No, I think that's right.
After my long spiel rant, I want to know Inagro's thoughts on this epic line from this epic series. Is it just fine?
It's a good line. It's the best part of the arc for sure. Is that like his death and his speech? You've said all the thoughts, so
I've been thinking about this for a long time. So
no, that's fair. I know I've been sitting back this episode, but I can tell you both are very passionate about this, and I want to let you talk about it, and I want to hear what you have to say about it.
Yeah,
it's funny because it's
jump
definitely...
in whenever you hear something and you're like, stupid.
I will. Got it. But that's the thing. I don't even have strong negative opinions. We kind of picked the worst episode to take behind the scenes info. We took for reasons took a 3-week break between recording sessions. We picked the worst one because I have the most average feelings and thoughts of any arc. The least passion in either way.
Just funny because
negative or positive.
This might be. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna say this probably next chapter or next episode too, whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, take a shot every time I say it's my favorite arc. But you know, genuinely.
Shot of vinegar. Seriously.
Yeah, like this is. Funny enough, that's not my favorite moment. I think chapter 138 is my favorite chapter. And it's because it's just Luffy going through the avalanche alone. Sanji and Nami are both out cold. He has to avoid...
that was a good one.
He has to not fight to keep them from getting more hurt. At least that great moment with the rabbits, the Lapins.
Oh, yeah, the rabbits. I liked the rabbits.
Yeah, so if you noticed, the first Lapin that attacked either of them, it was a little baby. And Sanji kicked it. Up until that point, nothing had attacked them. Once Sanji kicks that first one, all of the giant ones come after them.
Yeah.
And in the next frame, you can see, or panel, you can see the baby Lapin on the shoulder of a bigger one nursing its wounds. So only after Sanji attacks the baby did the big ones even attack Luffy and Sanji. So they're warned all this time, the Lapins will attack, the Lapins will attack, the Lapins will attack. But only after they attack the baby do the big ones even attack them.
You could say that it's a consequence of not listening to Vivi's earlier advice, actually.
True. In all fairness, that was Sanji not listening. But yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And that same baby is trying to save its parent from the avalanche, just clawing at the snow, and Luffy pulls its parent out. And just keeps on walking, with both Sanji and Nami knocked out. And to repay him for that, the Lapins fight off Wapol and Wapol's men, and they get destroyed. But it's a great moment, you know. It's like he can't fight, but his just nature of like something is not right in front of me. I'm gonna fix this. This was an enemy, but, you know, it's a shonen, so now you're my friend. You know, it's great. I love it.
Luffy seems like that kind of guy.
He is. The harder you punch me, the better friends we will be.
I expect many villains to become friends.
It is a shonen. And as great as all that is, my favorite Luffy moment altogether up to this point is just him climbing the mountain all alone.
No, he's climbing the moment.
True.
Climbing his character arc. Climbing.
It just all alone, freezing cold, carrying two people, barehanded. His knuckles are bleeding. Like he's just
The
climbing.
anime is more gruesome.
Is it
by the
really?
way.
Because I felt like
Yes.
I've watched the anime and I've read the manga, and I was more like viscerally like, oh god, that looks awful to the manga. Maybe it's just been too long since I've watched the anime, but
the anime, it's like the lines are more drawn, like they changed the drawing style a little bit just to make everything a little bit more darker as he's climbing, and just like his fingers are freeze, and there's just a lot more detail in the anime.
I'll have to rewatch it and see. But from my memory, I definitely remember the manga being like surprising to me, like, oh, wow, this is brutal. Like to the point of like Sanji's backstory comparison to the anime brutal in my memory. Again, that might be wrong, but it had been a while since I had watched it compared to when I had read it again. And
right.
It's just such an incredible moment, and it's short but potent. And it's the part that I remembered most vividly as my favorite part of the arc from the last time I had read this as well. So between that and then we'll talk about later Luffy's scene with the pirate flag towards the end of the arc, I definitely think this is the most interesting Luffy has been so far. So, he has his cool moments, his character growth, those moments he can't fight and handles things in other ways. So it's definitely his best arc so far. And
what did you guys?
I probably agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. What did you guys think about Chopper's devil fruit? The 7 transformations.
He has. Oh right, yeah, no, he does have 7. Yep.
I remember.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Agro. I'll chime in after you're done, but
he was a deer, and now he's a dog.
He ate the Hito no Mi, the human fruit.
Oh god, those words will haunt me for the rest of my life.
I'm going to call him a dog every single episode for the rest of the show.
So this
Doggy.
This is the first time we've heard a specific classification for a devil fruit. We've heard that Dalton and Chopper's fruits are what are called zone fruits. We do not learn the others for a long time, to be clear. But we learn that zone types are like transformations that are usually limited to 3 forms per fruit. But Chopper has created a rumble ball, which enables himself to access 4 other forms, which allows him to have a total of 7. So Chopper's OP, please nerf. Chopper broken.
7 for now.
I like the it's cool, like Luffy. Remember when at the end of the arc they're like, Nami's like, why do you guys think Chopper joined us? And then Luffy's like, 7 transformations. Like, that's me. I'm like, yeah, he's cool. And then Sanji says, extra rations. Sanji's so funny this arc. I can't. And when he calls Kureha like an old lady, and she like breaks his back again because he did that.
Hell of a doctor.
No, I love how she chases her patients with weapons. I think that's the best. She's like House, man. I've been watching a lot of House clips today. She's basically House, though.
I do like that. Sorry, go ahead.
But if House was like a super doctor, like he could tell exactly what was wrong with you in an instant.
Yeah, like if he could tell this disease that has been extinct for 100 years, but don't worry, I have the vaccine. I figured I might see it.
She is 139.
Yeah, hey, good thing you didn't say 140. Should kick your ass. She's very sensitive about that topic. But yeah, so we learn how Nami got infected. She was infected by a bug bite on Little Garden. She would have been dead in 2 more days. She already had some pretty serious issues. She had like a super high temp for like a long period of time, brain swelling, multiple infections, a weakened heart, and inflamed blood vessels. So she was knocking on death's door there. So she's very lucky that Kureha was her doctor. Huh?
She's fine. Just has to sleep it off.
Yeah, shake it off, kid.
Don't worry about it.
Man, what I liked about, we didn't mention it, but at the beginning of the arc, there's like this huge storm that almost hits them, but if it wasn't for Nami
Oh yeah.
steering them in the right direction, and that panel is just the entire page. It's so scary. It's just like, and then Vivi's like, man, she just sensed the weather. She didn't even like do any math or anything like that. She just went, weather powers, go this way. And Zoro's like, man, I've been following that cloud for like 2 hours now. I think we're good.
Once Nami's gonna eat a devil fruit and just become Storm from the X-Men.
She doesn't need to, dude. She already is.
Yeah. Another thing that I liked about the beginning of the arc, I don't know, we're switching topic a little bit, is when she gets sick, and then but she's like, we need to get to Alabasta.
Oh, yes.
I kept this newspaper from you, but it's telling us basically that the rebellion is going to fight against the army soon.
Yeah, 300,000 members of the Royal Army defected to the rebels.
Yes. So Vivi's like, oh my god, this is horrible. Like, the war is gonna start, and I'm not there yet to tell them. I can't warn them or anything like that. But then she kind of like senses the mood of the crew and how they're like not okay with them not going to Alabasta. Like, they want to make Nami okay, and she kind of like takes that because she's a leader and she understands how people work, and she puts people, like we said last time, she puts others above herself. And she says, but the fastest way for this ship to run is if we go heal Nami first.
Well, and she's also right.
And everybody's like,
who the hell else can get that boat to even go straight? I mean, Zoro sent them into the comm belt.
That's very true. Like, on a physical sense, yes, but also in an emotional sense. Like, yes. And I feel like she just got their loyalty immediately when she said that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like, she's a.
Go ahead. Sorry.
What were you gonna say? It's just that she bought their loyalty, and they're now friends now. Like, she understands them as a human being, and now they're gonna do, like, not only that, but they will do everything in their power to help her now because she sacrificed potentially her entire nation for Nami.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, she's a crew member now. Right. She's with it. Yeah. But how did they get to Drum Island? They picked a direction and just went there. Because their eternal pose is set to Alabasta, and their log pose was not set. So, they just went in a direction and randomly came across Drum Island.
I think
they followed the weather patterns, right?
Yeah, that, but I think there's also the fact
there's obviously some higher power involved, as I have theorized since chapter 100 or 99, I forget which.
I think what happens when you leave an island, even if your log pose isn't set, like, it'll lock onto something. Like, once you leave the island, you don't have to set it, I guess. Is what I'm saying. Does that make any sense?
I understand what you're saying, but I'm not sure if it works that way just because of, like, I don't know. It could. Because, I don't know.
You know what? I think later on, I think a similar situation happens and they explain it better there. I think that's what I'm remembering.
Okay. Maybe.
So I won't talk about it.
Gotcha. But yeah, it definitely just threw me for a loop. Like, how did they get here? Did they just pick a direction and follow the weather?
Yeah. What did you guys think about the cherry blossom at the end of the arc?
I really like it. What about you, Agra?
Just nice and sweet. Little cherry on top.
Nice send off.
Get it? Because eat a cherry, you know?
Yes.
You get it?
Yeah. I get your shitty
pun. You were better when you weren't talking.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yes, back to deafen with you.
Oh, no. But I was trying.
Yeah, no, the cherry blossom scene always makes me cry. Like every time when Chopper cries, I cry. I can't help it.
Yeah. On that note, his reaction of like, you know, the flip of, oh, the skull and crossbones? Yeah, it's a flag. It rejects all impossibilities. It's the symbol of faith. You know, you gotta hoist this thing and fight like a pirate. Uh, to the skull and crossbones symbolizes poison, you little idiot. You killed him.
That's
To
so
Chopper
sad.
recognizing he has killed the one human who has ever accepted him. One living being who has ever accepted him.
Well, actually, push his glasses up nose. Here, look, killed himself. He exploded.
True, but he wouldn't have done that were it not for. He wouldn't have done that when he did that were it not for the poison.
Listen.
But
there are 3
I
ways
do
Here Look can
appreciate.
die on that mountain.
That's
1,
true.
poison gets him.
Mhm.
2, he gets shot by not Dalton's men, Wapple's men.
Mhm.
3, he blows himself up. So which situation would be best for all parties involved? Well, if he gets killed by Chopper, that's on Chopper. He doesn't want that to happen. He doesn't want to get killed by Waffle. He doesn't want to give him the satisfaction. So I think blowing himself up is the best course of action. I'm gonna die anyways, right?
No,
Might as well go in a flashy way.
I agree. It just, I'm not sure he would have done it were it not for, the poison in the first place. But I do really like that he wouldn't allow the poison to be the thing that kill him, and asking,
Dalton?
actually, not even just Dalton. He asked everyone, please don't kill the monster that will be here in a moment. It's my son.
Tears every time.
And then obviously, Chopper finds out he poisons him, and he vows to make the miracle cure. No, sorry, to become the miracle cure. Since there is no miracle cure, he'll become the doctor who can cure anything. Since he believes there's nothing in the world that can't be cured. What is the miracle cure?
You're right, though. Good intake of vitamins. Not even kidding. I'm not even joking. I saw a documentary the other day about how apricot seeds basically cure cancer.
Well,
not even joking. I'll send it to you guys.
Interesting.
Chopper is right. There is a cure.
You got me to read One Piece. Diet. You can't get me to watch a documentary.
What? I can. I will. Watch me.
No.
Challenge accepted.
Oh no, this was a mistake. I should have just left it
alone. Yeah, the flag part was cool, and also it kind of ties into how Wapple became like a fake pirate.
Luffy's speech was so good.
He wasn't prepared. He wasn't prepared to lay down his life. He didn't have any right to fly a pirate flag.
Mm-hmm. Luffy chewed him a new one, man. He's like, "You're a bunch of frauds. You pretend to be pirates. You weren't willing to risk your lives. You don't know the meaning of this flag."
I'm gonna sue you. I'm gonna sue.
It's such a good. His speech with the flag is great. I think the most iconic part, for me, it's not my favorite part, but it's the most iconic shot from the arc, is him holding up the flag all tattered. It's so good.
That's the best page in the manga so far.
And then he caps it off with, "It's not something to be laughed at or shot at." Oh, it's so good. Such a great moment.
Yeah, I saved that one. That's the best one.
Yeah.
Something I'm noticing generally is that Oda is really good at paneling.
Mm-hmm.
All the panels look like a work of art, is what I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
The panel where they first see the castle, it's my wallpaper
now. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful.
It is. It's stunning. It's like fairy tale. I felt like I was going into Beast's castle from Beauty and the Beast. That's what it felt like to me. But it was winter. Winter does actually happen in that movie, I think. Anyways, and just the
plot point.
Another thing is the cherry blossom scene is also really beautiful, and that when they're coming down from the moon, and the moon is in the background when they're coming down the sleigh.
Oh yeah, it's also cool because it's a callback. We've seen earlier in the arc, Luke and Chopper on the background. like you can't see the string, so it looks like, Santa Claus in the sled with the reindeer, right? And then you see the callback to that with the crew in the mostly in the sled with Chopper. And who is it that's hanging off the back of the sled? There's one of the crew members. It's Luffy.
Luffy and Sanji
Okay.
are hanging off.
Yeah. So then they're just hanging off the back, unable to hang on. It's so good.
Yeah, so I have this also as my wallpaper. So Luffy is holding on to Usopp, and you can see Sanji's legs coming out of the sleigh. I think. Yeah. I think this arc in particular has just a lot of amazing imagery, I feel like. And it's just really unique. Like from the mountains.
The art and paneling has definitely been improving over time.
Yeah, and just like the winter weather, I love how they're just balls of snow everywhere all the time. I love that. In the anime, the snow is also always like the snow's kind of dirty in the anime, but in the manga, it's so clean, and I love it.
I think it's so meant to be for the payoff with the cherry blossom scene.
I think so too. Yeah, I think that's why.
Because the cherry blossom scene is more impactful in the anime, in my opinion, but obviously because it has color. But it's still a nice scene in the manga. But
I'm reading mine in color, so I'm getting like.
Oh yeah, no, we just have gray cherry blossoms.
I have pink. It's so pretty.
Yeah, that does sound nice.
What did you else want to talk about before?
There's definitely a couple big things.
Okay, go ahead.
One from the final chapter, which I'll get to in a second, but they're briefly, I like that. I don't know if I like it. There's like the charged up bazooka, right? Like we end on a Gum Gum bazooka, and then we cut to like a 10 chapter flashback. So it goes Gum Gum bazooka about to hit Wapol flashback. And then we don't get to the payoff for the bazooka until like 7 or 8 chapters later.
I think it's a pistol.
Imagine waiting 2 months.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it is pistol.
He fights Wapol when he first starts with Wapol. He ends the fight with Wapol with a bazooka. He starts with that pistol is. It's like comeuppance for like I think he did that on purpose.
I'm sure.
So that we get his scumbaggery, and then we come back and Luffy's in the middle of punching this scumbag. So it's way more effective that way.
Needed because the fights didn't have any tension this arc. Like, if Luffy's able to fight, it's a stomp, right? Like Wapol is not a challenge
for most fights.
Like Wapol is not someone who is a challenge for Luffy. Right.
Spoilers, Luffy lives through all the fights. Spoilers.
Or does he?
Does he? I mean, if there's a Hell arc, I'll be very excited.
No comment.
No comment.
No comment.
David Jones locker. Davy Jones. I see. Don't worry. I see where this is going.
You're not saying anything. We are moving on, Inegro.
We do get a cool moment fight-wise with Luffy charging up 3 Gum Gums. He goes like Gum Gum, Gum Gum, Gum Gum, and then releases the bazooka on Wapol to just send him flying.
Yeah.
He just sends him to the moon. He's chilling with our other pal up there.
Who, Buggy? He's chilling with Buggy?
We'll find out who he's chilling with in a couple arcs.
Yeah.
No spoilers.
We're going to forget about him by then, though.
True.
I'm gonna be like, what? Who?
Already have.
Wahoo! Hey, Mario. But the final chapter gives us a ton of information. So to start off, a pirate named Ace came to town on a strange day. There was no snow. He was pursuing Blackbeard, and after hearing he wasn't there,
I know the name Ace. But I don't know. I have no context.
Okay.
Whatsoever.
He left a message for Luffy with the townsfolk. He said, "I'll be waiting in Alabasta for 10 days." They forgot to tell Luffy.
Yeah.
So,
those 2 townspeople.
Yeah. Thankfully, they're on the way.
The thing that I love about this Ace figure is that he's introduced like such a badass. Like, look, his silhouette is cool, and it's not snowing, and it's all mysterious. And then someone says, Let me catch that man. He didn't pay for his meal. And then he just bolts.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, the badass.
It's just like silhouette with like a cape and a cowboy hat. Looks pretty
right?
cool.
And then didn't pay for his meal. He has to run.
Get that cheapskate.
I think that's really fun.
They're pirates.
And then, I think the biggest thing is, like you said, we don't have to say Gold Roger anymore. We can say Gold Roger.
God. Yes, that was what I was going to mention next. Go ahead.
And then we see Luffy's wanted poster, because this is the ace guy give it to these two people. They're like, hey, if you see this guy, tell him I'll be waiting in Alabasta. So we finally see Luffy's wanted poster in somebody else's hands. And it's given to Dr. Kureha. And she says, it seems the Will of D is still alive.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are your thoughts?
Will of D, as I've been stating, he's controlling fate somehow. It's his will that things are going the way they're going. I don't know how or why. I imagine it has something to do with fate, obviously, or someone controlling it. I don't know. We'll see. That's my thoughts.
So far,
I'm sticking with my same theory.
Let's think about it.
He planned it all.
Roger, Monkey D. Luffy.
Down
they
these
have
stairs.
The same middle initial. They have the same. I'm trying to run a serious podcast here, guys.
Are we? Are we really?
They both have the same middle initial. What do you think about that?
It's definitely a coincidence.
Ooh, that's a hot take.
Definitely. The author was like, "Oh no,
I'm gonna just move the gold.
Publish the first chapter.
Gold, move the D, gold D, bang, done. Just leave this open-ended for the next 900 chapters. And forget about this. They call me Toriyama.
Remember in Reverse Mountain when we thought we would meet Laboon at chapter 500? Remember the good old days?
No.
Of course you don't remember anything. Me and Lucian are doing the heavy lifting as per usual.
That's true. Not lying.
Also, in that final chapter, we learned Chopper can speak to and understand animals.
God, that Kaoru burn, where he's like, I went after Zoro and the idiot went in the water.
He was swimming in the freezing cold water. And so that's why I'm sick, actually. And then...
Oh, wait.
Mm-hmm.
My actual favorite part of the arc is when... as soon as she says the Will of D is still alive, we see Luffy and he has these sticks up his nose in his
yep.
Yeah. Everybody's laughing about it, and then he tells he says, "Oh my God, is Zoro pouring Sanji a drink in this panel?" What?
There they all drink.
That's not what I'm confused about. I'm confused that Zoro is pouring a drink for Sanji. Like he's doing something nice for Sanji.
Oh, fair.
Yeah. So Nami's like, man, we need to focus. Nami says that, and then Luffy says, yo, Nami, look, I learned this from Yosaku. Which is like, I didn't even know that Yosaku left an imprint on them, and now he's basically in every party ever, because Luffy does this every time they have a party. Sorry if I spoiled it. But I didn't even know that Yosaku taught that to him. I never caught that the first time around. I just thought it was really cool.
Chopper does it too.
Oh wait. Okay, I think I'm done with Drum Island. Like I've said my thoughts. I've said I think about it.
The only other thing left is that we got a sneak peek of Mr. 2 Bon Clay.
Mr. 2 Bon Clay sama.
Yeah, they were unable to find Mr. 3 and Mr. 0 Crocodile is seemingly off to go crack some pirate skulls and play hero. So
he got a full page to himself. That's how epic this guy is. It doesn't even have like, usually when you do an introduction to a One Piece character, they have like half the page and then the panels continue. This guy got the whole page. Negro, what do you think of Mr. Tubonkle-sama? I can't say it any other way. I
Interesting.
apologize.
I definitely I don't have any strong thoughts other than he seems interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing if he's a good villain.
So
like a good introductory chapter.
Yeah, he says, "This is no joke, but I love his voice actor in the anime. I love his character so much that I heard it in Japanese. Jordan, I read it this way. Jordan, Janai, wa yow." He says in that accent. I can't. It kills me every time when he does that.
Yeah. So
like,
an
me
interesting.
And my sisters will always say his lines to each other.
It's super iconic, very quotable. An interesting thing with Bon Clay is that you'll notice, right? His name is Mr. 2 Bon Clay, right? Like it's Mr. 2 Bon Clay. Normally it's just, Mr. 2, Mr. 1, Mr. 3, Mr. whatever.
Yeah, right.
Right? So the deal with that is Bon Clay is a festival in Japan. It's meant to honor the spirits of one's ancestors, right? Or Bon, as they call it now.
And because he doesn't
have a female partner.
Right.
So he has both the masculine Mr. 2 and the feminine Bon Clay, or Bon Clay. So he has both the male and female naming conventions and no partner. And so just as a bit of a preview.
That didn't even click for me.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'll go more into stuff like that as he becomes more relevant, but there is a lot of interesting stuff regarding Bon Clay, one of my favorites.
Oh, I always just thought that was his name.
No.
It's not his name.
Nope.
That's his moniker. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, I didn't notice that. Good catch.
Actually, I think that's from an SBS. So thanks, Oda.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. That's so cool. Oof. I can't think of what else to say because that's just that's all my thoughts.
No, I think that was everything.
You know what time it is?
No.
Time to rank those arcs.
You can't rank it. You don't even remember.
You okay? Stop him. You can't say anything anymore. You made a color-coded list for us. You did that unprompted, so we're signed up.
Damn you! You used my organization skills against me. Damn.
Of course. I will go first.
I quote Bender when I say, "Damn you, old man," as I shake my fist in the air.
I would put it
Futurama.
At number 8. Below Loketown and above Romance Dawn.
I need to look at that thing. I don't even know what my ranking is.
Mm-hmm.
Give me 1 second. You sent it to us, right, Lucian?
I don't have it color coded.
You made it.
You have it color coded.
Oh no, it's I know.
Well, you have a fancy version thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't see that.
By the color coded.
Oh,
list.
Okay. So there's sheet 1 and sheet 2.
Fancy.
You just added a second sheet. I didn't notice that.
Yes,
okay.
I added a second sheet just in case
gotcha.
we didn't want the color coded.
No, I like it.
Oh, no. I need to find it. Give me a second. Oh, there it is. Okay, I sent a picture too. Good. All right. Drum. Where do we want this? It's gonna be.
Give us your own opinion first.
Me?
Like, write
it
in your own
list, on your personal
and then,
thing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I'm putting it above Reverse Mountain and below. No, I gotta put it on top of Sierra Village. Ooh. That hair look line is too iconic. So it'll be number 4 for me.
I agree. It would be number 4 for me as well. We're on the same page.
Ooh. Yay, high five.
High five.
I did a high five.
I high five myself for the audio.
I high five the air, so I think you did a better job.
And for the group ranking?
We're talking about the dumb group rankings.
Mm-hmm. Where do
I
you
don't
put
know.
it?
Where do you want it?
Number 5.
In the group ranking? So above
Mhm.
Little Garden? Under
I'll give that to you.
Baratier?
I mean, I would put it below that personally. Obviously, I put it at 8, but I will
You know
concede
what?
up to that. Don't want it below. I don't want it above Baratier.
I'm gonna agree with that. Baratier was Sanji has a little stronger backstory than Chopper, but it's literally that iconic line that would make it go above Baratier. But no, it should be a number 5 under Baratier. What do you think, Lucian?
No, I'm down with that. That's fine. It's under Baratier in my personal list, so.
Okay.
Cool.
And that's the list.
We did
We
it,
came
boys.
to an easy consensus.
Wow.
I know.
Shocking. The
Because
episode
Aggro
today, we
forgot.
argued for like 45 minutes.
That's just because Aggro forgot everything.
Not true. I remember most of
Very
it.
true, though.
If he had just read this would have been a 20-minute conversation.
Okay. Well, you know what? We'll find out if that's true next time.
Oh my god. We can't do a ranking next time. We're probably not going to finish the whole
Oh, yeah,
arc.
that's right. What are we reading
Yeah.
next time?
Wait, yeah.
So
You know
next
what-
time is the start of the next major arc, which is 63 chapters long. So we can either do the whole arc in one episode, let's
No.
go, or we can
No.
split it into 2.
Split it into 2. Is there a good cliffhanger around halfway?
I believe there is.
Yes.
I'll go back and
Yes, there
find it. Southlam and I can talk about roughly where it is off the podcast
we
after.
have to talk
Okay.
about it.
But I believe I remember. I have read this recently. I haven't finished the arc recently. I read up to past the halfway point. It's not going to be exact halfway, but it's pretty close. So.
I think the problem with me is that I split this arc into 3 parts, and so just like because it's just there's so much going on in this arc.
That's fair.
So splitting it into 2, it'll be like
I feel like if we split it into 2,
like
we'll,
2
like we
islands.
split it into more than 2, we'll be repeating ourselves too much.
Yeah, that's true. That's very
fair.
true. So I was thinking it would be like the first 2 parts are a lot like the 2 island episodes that we do, I would say. And then the last part is like an island on its own. So.
How many chapters of the first 2 parts?
Well, I can't say because I don't know, and I would spoil it.
Yeah, I also don't know like the actual.
Okay, then
length
we
of
don't
certain
know
parts.
currently.
No, we have no idea.
Saflam and Lucian shall huddle together in their own spoiler corner and decide. And maybe there'll be a little image on screen or something with a number. Or maybe there won't be, and you'll find out next week. Who knows?
Can we call it the spoiler huddle?
Sure. You want to do the spoiler huddle?
Sounds like I'm going into timeout.
On like recording right now?
Spoiler huddle.
Spoiler huddle.
Yeah, we can do it outside of the podcast.
We can do it outside in case anyone else is new.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true. Yeah. Spoiler huddle. I love it. I'm excited. We should make a group chat, me and you, Lucian, just called the spoiler huddle.
Second podcast every week.
Where we talk about all the implications that everything that was introduced in this arc. Hito no Mi will haunt me forever.
I hear you.
All right, Anagra, that was part of the spoiler huddle.
I know. I didn't really get it, so I get it.
I just have to put it down in stone, so when I come back to it, or when you come back to it and listen to it, you'll be like, "Oh, that's what she was talking about." So I just have to emphasize that.
Of course.
End of this episode. Spoiler huddle.
Yeah.
I want a section of the video called Spoiler Huddle now, where we just vaguely
Well, then
mention.
I will leave the group chat, and you shall finish the podcast. That's the spoiler.
No. You already do nothing enough. So
okay, you know what? You make good
shots
points.
Fired. Honest shots, but shots nonetheless.
Well, I think that's it for today.
Nagra's like, I want to leave.
I'm done being bullied.
It's your fault for not reading One Piece.
I did read it.
Yeah, but not 20 years ago.
Podcast for you to read it. Yeah, I agree. You should have read it 20 years ago.
Yes, late. When I was 4. The good old days.
Is this where we wrap things up and you do the plugins and whatever?
I think it is.
Sounds good.
Yeah. What are we
You
plugging
want
in?
to email us?
Oh God, I hate this part.
We've gotten many emails such as your upload is complete. Nice. You can go to undertheironflag@gmail.com. We'll read your email on podcast. Or review us on Spotify or YouTube, I guess, if you can do that. Comment on YouTube. We'll read that too.
Yeah. Here you go.
I promise. I'll do it. I actually don't promise. I hold all rights to not read whatever you send.
He said it, so it's in contract.
Yes,
lawyers can use this as evidence.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to announce maybe a little, like, One Piece is not the only thing that we're going to cover. Hopefully, we've been discussing different topics that we could discuss, and I think Attack on Titan is going to be the next episode. That I don't know if all three of us are going to do.
Probably not.
Lucian has been
No, definitely not. Just you and me. Just you and me.
Lucian has been pretty adamant about not joining us on that conversation.
And these will be as bonuses to the normal weekly One Piece, probably mostly.
Yeah.
Though actually, they'd be very good for like if we don't record for a week or something. That'd be good. Yeah. Actually. So we'll see.
Bonus.
We don't even know what the conversation's going to be.
To be determined.
So, yes. But we're going to be doing other content than just One Piece.
Yeah.
Look forward to more.
Yes. I think this is where we ask final thing. Do you have any theories, Inegro, or?
Oh, that's a good.
We are.
I gained no new theories this arc. I think I'm still going with Gold D. Roger. Is controlling events now, even though he's dead.
Okay.
That's my leading theory, and we'll continue probably for the next 1,000 chapters. Then you're like, wow, we don't know either. You might be right. We don't know.
And are we enjoying the series so far?
Still enjoying it. I'm looking forward to seeing the first very long arc over the next 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when this arc was very long, Southland?
Oh, no.
That was a rough laugh.
Man, I miss when this was a long arc.
Oh, but it just gets better and better, baby.
It does. It does genuinely only get better. It also, for the most part, only gets longer and longer.
I'm actually really excited to read Alabasta. Like I said, I've never read the manga, so this is all new for me. It's just gonna be a fun experience, you know?
Yeah.
What do you look forward to, Lucian, without in our spoiler huddle?
Finishing the arc. I've read like more than half of it, and then we decided to start the podcast, and so I stopped. So I'm looking forward to finishing the next arc, so I can, and then, being new to whatever we read manga-wise, I have still, watched all of the anime, barring, garbage filler. But yeah, I'm looking forward to new manga experience.
Okay. I think I'm going to say my troubles with Alabasta in the Alabasta episodes. But literally after Alabasta, I'm so excited to read those. Because I've never read those either. So I'm just, chills. Inegro said, did you say what you were excited about, Inegro? You're excited about where the story's going and stuff like that?
Yes, I'm excited for that. I'm excited for Vivi to be more important and then probably leave forever and never show up again. She's the best character. And another new Straw Hat next arc, calling it.
Who?
What do you mean who?
If it were to be a character we've met, who is the new member?
What do you mean? It's a character we've met?
No, I'm saying if it were to be a character we have met, who would it be?
Does Vivi count?
Sure.
Yes.
Oh, it's not going to be her, but it would be cool. She's kind of like the one that's guaranteed to not be it, sadly. I don't remember enough characters we met.
What about Gaimon?
Oh, what's the woman's name who showed up on the ship for 5 minutes at the end of the last arc?
Miss All Sunday?
Yes, her.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
If you say that's her name.
That is her name. Yeah, she's the one who's been like by Crocodile's side.
Mm-hmm. She's obviously not entirely on Crocodile's team.
Hmm.
So
yeah, she did give away his identity.
I don't think it's someone we know. I mean, I didn't until 5 minutes ago.
No, I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying if it were to be. I genuinely don't actually remember who the next crew member is.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, like, if it were to be.
The thing is, I only know of Robin and Law, and I don't know anything about Law other than his name.
Gotcha.
And I don't really know anything about Robin either. I've seen art of Robin, but that's it. And I assume there are at least, well, that would make 8, right? So there's at least 2 more. So I don't know them at all. We'll see.
All right then.
Yeah.
I think it's time for us to wrap up. I kind of asked too many questions at the end there.
No, you're good. You're good.
Ask all the questions. That's the point. Oh.
It is. Well, if you gave more than 2-word answers.
Look, you know what? Next
okay,
time,
I'm done with the roasting.
I promise.
You will have more thoughts next arc because you love Vivi and she's prominent.
I do.
So.
Nice.
But take notes. Seriously, you have to take notes.
I will.
I'm not even kidding.
Yes.
It will be. It's like there's just so much to remember in this arc specifically. But yeah, Topper has officially joined the crew, and we are now going to go into Alabasta fully forced. Everybody's healthy. Everybody's good to go. We got a doctor. We got a new crew member. We're ready to go.
Thank God we got a doctor.
Job. Oh, he's a doctor. Never mind.
What?
Oh God. Okay, we're ending
we're gonna end the episode tonight.
Guys,
bye.
Have a good one. We'll see you next time on. We just want to talk about One Piece.